everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, an anime news show, an RPG news show, a niche news show, a show where Baku and I stream every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing some trailers, maybe talking about some industry news. We are live on 3 different channels right now, in fact, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's up with that here pretty shortly. But hey, it's good to see you guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. We'll be responding to some of the super chats that we receive throughout the show at the end, and otherwise, I think that about covers the intro. And you can hear me, I think, right? Hey, I think everybody can hear me. Wonderful. We nailed that intro. We nailed it. Yeah.
Sure?
I can see it on my meters. We're good. We're good. Oh man. So, how are you doing today, Baku?
I'm doing great, man. Getting very excited to travel later in the month. I'll be stopping by New York. I'll be going to Anime NYC. I had a chance to review like 3 separate games last week, which is fun. Just a lot and one of them we'll talk about later in the show. So yeah, pretty good week so far. How you doing, man?
Dude, I am just so hyped about something that I can't talk about. I told you a little bit about it before the stream. I mean, just, nothing, not too much, but just enough to get your curiosity piqued. And I can't tell anybody else about it. But I'm going on a secret trip here pretty soon to a clandestine meeting that I can't tell anybody about, and it's driving me nuts because I am so incredibly
content
hyped.
creator. Sometimes is we need to learn how to keep secrets about a lot of things we can't talk about. And then when we talk about it, it's like, yeah, this was like a month ago that this happened, and now I can finally talk about it. It's like, whew.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude, I was watching an episode of Marquez NKBHD the other day, and he was talking about this time that the FBI came and gave him a visit, but he couldn't talk about that for like 2-3 years or something like that.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, man, I feel that. And I really hope that it doesn't take 2 or 3 years for me to make a video about what's going to happen this week. But
yeah, I certainly hope not.
yeah, something will have gone terribly wrong if it takes that long. But otherwise, man, last week was rough on me. It kicked my butt. I got sick. I got, sinus congestions and sneezing all the time and just, are you eating cake?
I am. Last week was my birthday, and I'm still eating birthday cake from last week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just making sure my eyes did not deceive me. So I ended up not being able to make any videos all week, but luckily I kicked it. Whatever had me down, I was able to kick it before my big trip this week, and I am just ready to do all sorts of stuff. I was also, before the stream, I was playing and recording footage for another game that I can't talk about yet either. So yeah, just it's awesome. I'm having fun, but I can't tell you nothing about it. So sorry, guys. So
sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
But what we can tell them about?
Some of the stuff, the comments that we got from last week.
Oh no, I was gonna say we can tell them what we're doing with the channel. Or do you want to talk about it later?
I was gonna do that after we respond to some comments here. I thought.
Well, let's read some comments first then.
Oh, let's see. When did I actually? No, you're right. I did put that above comments on.
Wow, man, you really nailing it there, sir.
I know.
You've highlighted it. I'm like,
I know, you laid it up.
Sure,
you laid it up for me too, and everything.
It was such a great transition, and
man,
you know what? That's fine.
You're right.
So Derek, you know what you can tell them about?
Our new HitPoint YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, guys, did you know? Did you know that we have another YouTube channel now? So I did actually mention this on the JRPG Weekly Update, which if you didn't watch that, well, I mean, why would you do that to me?
Haters.
Gosh, man, hurting. It hurts. But I did talk about it on the JRPG Weekly Update. But essentially, what Baku and I found, or what I found through some experimentation and through talking with other YouTube channels, is that apparently leaving up all of the YouTube VODs from our live streams up from the last couple of years has kind of been sandbagging my channel for a while. And it's been driving me up a wall for literal ages. I think I may have even talked about it at one point. Like, why is the channel just not performing as well when I'm like making all these videos and I'm doing really well? I know that the content I'm making is great, but here's the thing. I went ahead and at the advice of some other YouTube creators, I hid most of the back episodes. I went ahead and put them all to unlisted for the time being. And immediately, like the videos that I started putting out started bringing in way more views than before, which, man, I think that's a really good positive sign that YouTube done screwed up their own algorithm with live content. Oh, okay. Anyways, point of the matter is, this YouTube channel ain't big enough for the two of us. Just kidding. But but kind of in a way. So we started off a HitPoint podcast YouTube channel, specifically for live streaming and for hosting all of our old episodes of HitPoint. That entire week that I was sick, I was with like one bloodshot eye working on migrating all of the old, like almost 200 episodes of HitPoint at this point, which is that right? 200? No, that can't be.
It
right.
couldn't be
97
yeah,
episodes.
like what?
It felt like 200 episodes. That's how sick I was. It was 97 episodes or 92 episodes. That's how sick I was.
That's insane.
I know.
I mean,
It really
in
is.
more ways than one.
Yeah. So I migrated them all, and it was an endeavor in and of itself because YouTube has no built-in tools for that sort of thing. So it's been interesting though, seeing like that channel I've migrated videos over, and like some of the videos just randomly getting 1,000 views out of nowhere. Like what? Like the Tactics Ogre Reborn video where we talked about how like how that was coming out, that's got over 1,000 views for no reason.
I saw that. I'm like, why?
I
so long ago.
I don't know. I told it not to publish it to anybody's subscription feeds, which was really like, I didn't want to annoy the crap out of everybody, but apparently some people just started watching it anyway. So that's good. Yeah. So I think that's also a good positive sign that like there's, maybe some other good stuff can come of having HitPoint on its own channel. So
Yeah.
anyways, there's a link in the video description of this live stream as of right now that you can go to and watch that right now. Also, as just a little bit of a test, a little testaroonie, we're also streaming HitPoint to my Twitch channel today. I have no idea if that's going well. Let me know, Twitch. Just kidding. I can't see what you say. Hopefully that's going fine. It'll be fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Also,
So
the link is not working, by the way, Derek. To the HitPoint channel. I clicked on it. It's 404.
oh, what the hey? Well, well, maybe I can fix it. I think it's because I mentioned. Oh, what the heck did it do to in the video description? It's just at HP Pod. Yeah, just there. Save. There. Try that. That might need a refresh. But it's the name of the channel is HP Pod or at HP Pod. And and that's where you'll be able to find all of our old episodes. We're going to still have the most current episode visible on my YouTube channel for the time being. The new HitPoint podcast channel is not monetizable at this time, so it'll eventually get there, and when it does, maybe we'll consider transitioning a little more over that way. But for the time being, we're primarily paying attention to chat on the SuperDerek YouTube channel. So come on over to youtube.com/SuperDerek to participate in the chat. So all right, that I think is everything that I really needed to say about the new HitPoint channel so far. And I guess it's time to start talking about some of those podcast comments that I
Like
alluded to before.
3 weeks ago at this point.
Timely responses. I know.
Oh god.
Timely responses to your burning questions.
All right. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead and take this one.
Okay. So we've got a comment here from Sarcastic Wizard who says, what do you think the games which are backlogged the most? Games a lot of people buy out of thinking, well, I will buy it now and play it later, but don't ever get around to do so? A funny thought I had was, if there ever existed a game which everyone bought because it was well promoted and looked exciting, but nobody ever played afterwards. Thank you so much for that comment. Huh. What
It's
are
a
the
really
games that get backlogged the most?
it's a really interesting concept, and
Mhm.
the reason I picked this aside is because I have an inkling in the back of my mind. I have a suspicion about what makes for a game that gets put into somebody's backlog eternally, and I'm just wondering if you maybe come to the same independent thought here. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Games that get backlogged the most.
Yeah, it's tricky, right?
Huh. Yeah, okay, so the comment says something along the lines of, I'll buy it now and play it later, but don't get around to doing so. I do that a lot.
I know,
Like
me
I
too.
would have these. Okay, I'll give you an example. So every October, okay, I would do this thing called Spooktober,
Yeah,
where I stream on Twitch nothing but horror games, all different kinds of horror games, Resident Evil, 2D horror, things like psychological horror, like all kinds of horror games, on Twitch. Okay,
yeah.
and then last year, I saw a whole bunch of them coming out in like random times of the year, and I'm like, oh, ooh, that would be good for Spooktober. Yeah, that would be so cool. That would be so fun. Yeah, I think people will really enjoy that. And it's like a pretty short game, and it's not too expensive. Why don't I just pick it up now because it's on sale, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did in October?
What's that?
I didn't stream at all in October because I was on hiatus.
Oh,
So, yeah, so much for Spooktober and so much for all these. So now these games are like a year old and they're just sitting in my, to play. But I can imagine like I would do things like that where I'm like, oh, this game is on discount, and ooh, that looks like a fun game that I can play, and people will be intrigued. More specifically, I think short games on discount are the ones I keep stocking up on.
yeah.
Not the long games. The long games I have plans for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if you give me like a Trails game or something or a Persona game, I have plans. I know what part of the year I would tackle those. It's a small like gap filler games that I keep stocking up on. Like when I don't know what to play, I'll just pick out one of these, and I never do.
All right. So here's my suspicion
Hmm.
about what makes a game something that somebody backlogs. And
Okay.
and I think,
Hmm.
I mean, and this isn't like necessarily like applies to all games, but I feel like this results in more backlogs per capita, if you understand what I'm
More
getting for,
backlogs per capita.
which is sequels to story-based games where the story events carry over.
Oh, you're right.
That's
You're
gotta be
right.
because I'm like, because I had been picking up all the Trails games
Hmm.
for a long time in order to play through them. And as I play through them, or as I would like get ready to play them all, like I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm playing Trails in the Sky, gotta get Trails in the Sky SC, and then the third, and then and then I got Trails from Zero. I'm like, oh, that means I gotta put Trails to Azure in there. Oh, and I gotta have all four of the Trails of Cold Steel games, plus Reverie, because that's also there. And then every time they got me hooked, and now I'm like, again, they just keep releasing more games. So I'm like, three behind at this point, I think, with Daybreak and then Daybreak 2 coming out in just like less than a year from now,
Yeah,
apparently.
they're
Early
speeding up with the
2025.
release schedule too.
It's,
So,
I know. So I feel in my heart of hearts that it is the sequels to story-based games that get backlogged the most, especially the more successful ones. So like I wonder how many people really enjoyed Final Fantasy X and then got like to 10-2 and then they're like, this looks a little different from what I wanted out of a 10-2 and then just like left it in the backlog. Because it's a sequel, but also it's like it's not bad. It's
Hmm.
just not quite like what I would have wanted in a 10-2. So
So
I
13
wonder
then.
if that also kind of just took backseat for a lot of people because the people who did
Right.
play it really loved the battle system.
Hmm.
But anyways, that's I feel
10-2
like
battle system was actually really good. Like
right.
I can say all kinds of mean things about it, but one thing I will say about 10-2 is 10-2 battle system is actually much better than 10 to me anyway. Um, but anyhow, no, I get your point. And it hits kind of close to home because yeah, you know what I said about planning for Trails game? I kind of lied. I have in my inventory behind me right now Zero, Azure,
Yeah,
CS 1 through 4. Okay, I
yeah.
have Reverie right here to the bottom quadrant here. Like I have this little drawer at Reverie and at Daybreak. So I have all the games up until Daybreak from Sky 3 completely unplayed. They're just sitting there. And
Hmm.
that's just Trails. And then I have like the Tails games, which are like, oh yeah, I like Tails games. Oh, this is on discount. I'll
Uh,
play it at some point. It's not even a
uh-huh.
sequel,
Yeah,
you know?
it's
It's not even a
true.
sequel per se.
I have
Right? I
I've
have
played
Symphonia
one.
sitting there.
I've played one of the Tales games and
Hmm.
the rest are in my backlog.
So it doesn't even have to be sequel per
It really
se.
doesn't. It
Yeah,
really
it
doesn't.
just
It
has to
just
be
has
part of a series.
but it does require the ones that do require a certain play order, I
Oh,
think
it makes it worse.
amplify the effect. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Mr. Invalid's in chat right now, and he's gonna talk about me not playing Arise very soon because apparently he really liked it. We'll get to it. Thank you again, Sarcastic Wizard, for writing to us.
Yeah, it's a really great question. Next up, this one came from it's Victoria G, who says buying JRPGs is as much of a hobby as playing JRPGs, and that's a fact. Sometimes collecting is really its own hobby. So sometimes you really shouldn't. If you were a collector, it's okay to have a backlog as big as this giant wall behind me, that you honestly can't really see it from there. But yeah, that's my copium anyway.
I mean, especially physical collection, like it has the extra thing of being like a memorabilia, right? So
Yeah,
like,
that's true. It is
yeah.
memorabilia. It's I you can't play a figure like of your
Well,
favorite
I mean, define
Baku. There are children watching. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I mean it as in like the amiibo. Come on, you could
Yes.
totally interact. Yeah,
Yes.
Derek, get with the technology, sir. It's 2024.
It is 2024 and
Do you
amiibos are no
remember
longer relevant.
remember Square Enix tried to release the NFT version of Cloud figure?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But for real, does anybody is the amiibo scene still what it once was? Cuz I haven't heard any like hype recently about any particular amiibos.
NFTs?
Amiibos.
Oh, amiibos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people still collect those.
Do they?
Apparently. Yeah.
Okay. I remember like it felt like it was once upon a time just like a thing. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh yeah, I got like a, couple amiibo." And then it's just kind of like, yeah, the novelty wore off.
I'm waiting for the Xenoblade Noah and Mio amiibo because I just like Xenoblade a lot. But I don't know when that's coming out. I have the Mythra and Pyra amiibo, but those are the only amiibos I have. I don't have any other amiibos because I don't really Nintendo games, right?
Yeah. I
Um,
I think the only amiibos that I have are there's a Wind Waker one, but then I got the Ness one, and I knew I had to get Ness because that's the closest thing to Earthbound merch as I'm gonna get here in the United States, and I had to support it.
yeah, but yeah, definitely buy those JRPGs, man. It is part of the hobby. just
Mm.
so you can look at it and be like, you know what it's like, because RPGs are so long, they're like books. It's like buying a book
Yeah, and having it
and
on your
then putting it in your
bookshelf.
bookshelf and then pretend that you read it.
Yeah, that's another hobby of mine, by the way.
I've been guilty of that. I would
Hey,
buy the
hey,
book
I'll
and
buy
then
the book,
listen to
but
the
then
audio version and be
me
like,
too.
I totally read that. I totally sat there and read the book. I mean, I know the content. I feel like that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
definitely read Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, and Armada by Ernest Cline. Of course, I read
of
those.
course.
Same with
Yeah.
Stephen King's Fairy Tale. Also, I definitely read that one.
It's like
It's on my shelf.
it's
You
like
know?
buying it's like buying the Lord of the Rings series and like have it displayed like the premium edition with
Oh
like the
yeah,
nice binding and
the
like showcase
first
it on
print.
like a shelf, but you've only watched the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what goes on though. I know all the memes. Yeah. So I feel like I've earned the right to do this.
Yeah, I think you've successfully called out every one of our audience members today. That's wonderful.
That's okay. We're just saying that we're one of you,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's okay.
exactly.
All
All
right.
right,
Well,
you want to
thank
take this
you,
next one?
Victoria. Yeah, thank you, Victoria G. Last comment that we got, or at least the written ones, is from Kiger Use. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who says, "For me, I dropped off of JRPGs because they tend to be a lot of bloat. Before, when I didn't have money, JRPGs were great because they lasted so long. Now I can do barely. Now that I do lately, JRPGs always trying too hard to waste my time with extra things that bring nothing to the story, and I don't need to spend 2 hours in a dungeon to get to the next story bit. That is you'd be surprised, but that's more of a common story
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. And I think that
So relatable. Yeah.
yeah, I think they're trying to change. Like it's a behemoth of an industry, right? So they're
Yeah.
trying to change. They're trying to adapt. I think the, the best answer, and if you watch the show enough times, you'll know what I'm about to say, which is that your best choice is actually play some indies, because
Yeah.
indies are short to the point and they don't waste your time. It's
Yeah.
not like they can't even develop anything that is exceedingly long anyway, because that's the whole point of
Ex-
indies. It's like they don't have that kind of resources to waste your time.
They
So
cannot. They literally cannot afford to waste your time.
yeah, whatever they're going to do is going to be short and sweet and straight to the point, maybe even too short for some people's liking. So if you don't like having your time wasted, play some indies. We've got a lot of great indies. We're even going to talk about this stream even, and we'll even talk about some games that aren't even JRPGs that
Mm.
will potentially that you may potentially be interested in.
Mm.
But if we're just strictly talking about JRPGs, I think and not indies, I think the industry is changing. Like I think Unicorn Overlord is a great example
Yeah.
where they are going about it in a way that doesn't waste your time. Like each battle is like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The longest battle is like 15 minutes, and that's like the final battle,
That's
right?
nice. That's really
It's
nice.
definitely not wasting your time. And it's very intricate. But you can spend as much time as you like optimizing, or you could just go with like the bare minimum,
Hmm.
even like auto like select things, and you can still get through. Like
Yeah.
you'd have a hard time, but you can get through it.
I think
Um, so
one of the other bastions of like short RPGs that respect your time, at least in terms of like modern games,
mhm,
are actually the remakes of the classic RPGs, like
mhm,
Live Alive remake or the Super Mario RPG remake. Those kinds of games that are essentially stuck and kind
mhm,
of bound by the original like cartridge limitations that made the games short back in the first place back in the day.
mhm.
Those kinds of remakes are also one of the last few places where you can go that just are not just full of ham.
Play Trials of Mana. Play
Yeah.
Trials of Mana, the
Oh yeah.
remake. It's
100%.
it's freaking great. How long is the Mario RPG? I've always wanted to ask that
Oh, it's
because
like it's under 20
yeah,
hours, I think.
really, that
Hmm.
short?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
It's
I
a
might give that a shot.
And if you want to know more RPGs under 20 hours, I do have that top 10 that I put out not too long ago where I
Hmm.
showcased a lot of them. Um, Now, before we move on, I have one more from last for not from last week, but from our last podcast episode. We got a voicemail. We got a
What?
voicemail.
Voicemail?
I know. Here, I should actually do this. Here, let's hit that button there. So you can see the voicemail number that you can call. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on the air or whatever it is, just like this one.
Hey, Derek and Baku. This is Josh calling from Myrtle Beach. Why aren't people leaving you any voicemails? Well, here's a
Right?
quick one for you. The recent announcements for the HD-2D Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 games have gotten me a bit hyped. We've seen the Live Alive get the same treatment. How likely do you think it will be for us to get some Final Fantasy games of that same era remade in HD-2D? I know we got the Pixel remasters, but that's not what I want. I want Final Fantasy VI in HD 2D.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Awesome. Well
Ooh.
put, Josh. Very relevant to what we were actually just talking about. It's almost as if I had planned it. I totally didn't, though.
From Myrtle Beach too. You're in my part of the world.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
but thank you so much for that.
he raises a really great point. Keep your eyes peeled, folks, for the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 HD 2D remakes, because those are also most assuredly going to be nice and short and very little on bloat. So now, as to this question, I think it's multifaceted, but I'll let you kick us off on this one, Baku. What do you think?
I'll be honest with you. I feel like the game that will most likely let me take it a step back. There are two kinds of games that can get the HD2D treatment.
Yeah.
New games or old games. New games obviously would
That
be
about
like
covers it.
Octopath. Right. No, and I mean, like, you got to look at it that way. I mean, it's obvious once I say it out loud, but you have to look at it that way. Like, and
the
I
two
say that
main
because
categories,
that's how
yeah.
they're going to allocate resources, right? Like, do I want to make a new game or do I want to give it the treatment, right? So that's what you're competing against as far as like the probability is concerned of like a remake with
Mhm.
HD2D. So
Yeah.
you've got the new game bucket, you have all your Octopath travelers and all those things that they could potentially do, and any other new IPs they can potentially do in that style is
Mhm.
on one bucket competing for resources against remakes. And I think on the top of the bracket for the remakes would be Super Nintendo or early PlayStation games because
Yeah.
they have the style where they're 2D and they can be made into that HD 2D format that makes sense. But it wouldn't be like the polygon stuff. Like they wouldn't do an HD 2D Final Fantasy 7, for example. Like I'm not saying they would, but that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So in the top of my list is actually Final Fantasy 5, not 6. Final Fantasy 5. And the reason is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 5 is a much easier game to do. There are only a handful, literally a handful of playable characters. Okay. You have a
Okay.
bunch of job classes, but in today's like programming technique, like it's not complicated to make those. They will have to do a lot of pixel art, but I feel like with limited animation frame, like again, it shouldn't be hard for them to do. It's a relatively easy story.
Yeah.
It's a relatively unknown title, just like DQ3. I mean, in terms of the West, that is. Of course,
Yeah.
these games are legendary in Japan, but in terms of the West, they're relatively unknown. So it makes sense for them to do something like 5.
It'd be a stepping
6,
stone, essentially, right?
yeah. 6 is what I would want to see because 6 is my favorite game. So not to say that I don't want to see it, but I think it's not as likely as 5. 6 is going to be way harder. There are way more playable characters. There's way more story. It's just there's more content,
Much
in
much
general. So it's
larger
gonna-
scope, right?
Yeah. But I feel like you're likely to get a 6 HD 2D remake and not like a FF7 remake treatment. They've talked about it. If they wanted to do an FF6 remake, like an FF7 remake, they basically said it's going to be like a 15-year like plan. Like it's just there's so much stuff in FF6
Yeah.
that it would take them probably 15 to 20 years to do at that scale. But they
Hmm.
did HD2D, they might be able to knock it out in a single game, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They would have to.
So
People would
likely.
riot if they didn't.
Another possibility is like Xenogear, right? Um, Now this is this is
Oh.
more far fetched,
Okay.
but there has been news recently that Monolith may be teaming up with Bandai Namco to, bring some what is it,
Xenosaga.
Xenosaga back.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's rumor though. Okay, so this is not news. This is rumor. Now, if providing that that's going along the way, maybe they can come back and do some Xenogear. I don't know. We'll see.
You know,
Um,
Square has they have been rebuilding some bridges lately. It
oh
seems.
yeah. A lot of the old y'all have to understand that like a lot of the old guards in Square Enix are being retiring or being displaced.
Yeah.
With this new leadership that's coming in, especially,
Mm-hmm.
like that's the whole point. The last president was kind of like the last holdout. And he was like super into NFT and AI and whatever the popular word is, because he wants to be like the hip kid in school, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I throwing out enough like terms for you kids to enjoy? Am I cool yet? I'm with the science. I'm with the technology. And then he got ousted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then a new guy come in, and his background was not necessarily comforting because he's worked with these cutting edge technology. But his action is showing that he's not really trying to make the quick bucks with the NFTs. In fact, that whatever project has kind of got shelved and then just fizzled out and be like, you know what, we cut out a lot of things, right? And they wrote their losses. They're gonna restart. So I think part of the restarting is not just restructuring, but like you said, rebuilding a lot of these bridges. So we'll see.
Yeah. I feel like you could almost make a Punnett Square of the different like ways to go about remaking
Mhm.
RPGs at this point, and
Yeah,
what kinds, and like the benefits of each. Maybe that'll be a project for another day. But ultimately, I
we should
also
totally
feel
do it.
like, well, maybe not right now. One of the things though that I think is going to inhibit Square Enix's um, drive to do so right now is
Mhm.
they're still kind of milking the pixel remasters. You know, they've re-released them, or are in the process of re-releasing them. Like, what was it,
Reprint.
is it
Yep.
2 years late 2 years later?
A
Is this
year. It's been a
1 year?
year and
It
some
feels like
change. Yeah.
two, but okay. So yeah, they're reprinting it and they're selling it again this time. I mean, I don't think this is one of our discussion topics this week, is it?
It is.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about
But
that.
it's at the very, very end. That's okay.
Okay. Well,
Well, no,
anyways,
that's when we'll give people details on where
yeah,
to get them. But
yeah.
no, we can talk about it now. Yeah.
Okay. But ultimately, though, the point is they're clearly still seeing this as a revenue generating resource that they have developed,
Hmm.
and to do anything HD 2D at this point, with those games would certainly eat into those perceived
Hmm.
profits that they have yet to realize through their publication of the titles again.
Hmm.
Um, so that's one thing. That's one hurdle that we have to get through first. And I feel like with the classics, they would want to have some sort of cool down in order to not saturate or oversaturate the market with their beloved IPs that would
Hmm.
then devalue them. I feel like that's also, at least historically, as far as Square Enix is concerned, that's something that they've historically been mindful of. Kind of, doing the Disney Vault thing, where they'll put out something here for a little while, but then it goes back into the vault. So when was the Final Fantasy VI Steam release? Do you know? I can look this up. I
Um. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. But what I was gonna say is, if you look at Final Fantasy IV, they did the 3DS version, and then sorry, they did the Final Fantasy 3 in 3DS, and it was good. And then they tried to do Final Fantasy 4 in 3DS, right? And then I don't think it's so as well. Um, but the original plan was to do Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI also on 3DS or some version thereof, right? So it's not like they don't want to do a remaster or a remake of those games. They've always wanted to. It's just time. Like if things played out for 3DS, they would have made Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI 3DS remade already. It's just the reality was that it didn't play out in their favor. 3DS was kind of on the way out and it didn't sell well. So they had to rethink what they want to do with it, because they don't want to invest money in unless they feel like that it's going to sell, of course. Um, but has it ever crossed their mind to remake those games? Absolutely, 100%. They're just waiting for the right time to do it.
Yeah. Well, as
Yeah.
far as they're concerned, they also just did it essentially.
Well, Pixel
So
Remaster.
yeah. So for context, the terrible the
cell
fan
phone
hated
version.
yes, that one
Uh-huh.
was released in December of 2015 on Steam.
Oh
And
wow,
and
so
so
long ago.
so that was yeah, and then the
9
Pixel
years ago.
remaster came out what,
A
2 years
year or two
ago?
ago, maybe.
So if we extrapolate from that, like if we
Mhm.
assume that they have like a 6-year cooldown timer on this, in order to prevent them from oversaturating the market with their classic IPs, you might not see a Pixel remaster until 2030 at the soonest. Is my like my pessimistic worldview coming into play here? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe before 2030, because if we 6 years from the previous time they released it. But then again, this is
Yeah.
still an ongoing monetization, so
Mhm.
it could go on even longer. Who knows? It's hard to
Yeah.
say. It's hard to say, but
It is hard to say. I feel like they shouldn't wait that long, though. I'm in
I
the
agree.
opposite. Yeah, I don't think they should wait that long because the hype, the fervor to see these remaster and remake of Super Nintendo and PlayStation era game is like now. Now is hot. We're
Yeah.
already shifting from Super Nintendo into PlayStation. When we start seeing like Star Ocean being remade, we're shifting into PlayStation territory,
Mhm.
right? The low, like the not low res, the 2D Super Nintendo PlayStation titles, like they're getting remade. Before you know, it's going to be like PS2 games are getting complete remakes, right?
Yeah.
PSP games are getting complete remake. You may already lose that window opportunity to really, do the game justice. So I don't know. I feel like if they are going to do it, now is the time. Announce it now. Come out with it in 3 years, right?
Yeah. So
But I digress. I don't know why they decided to do Dragon Quest. Like, what? Why are you doing Dragon Quest?
I mean, I'm not gonna complain about
baffles
it.
me.
I'm not complaining. I do love me some
Yeah.
Dragon Quest. And maybe that's part of it, is that it is
Yeah.
a historically very successful game franchise in Japan. And this is
Right.
a way to recapitalize on the glory days of Dragon Quest, because I don't know if that success in Dragon Quest has continued quite as much since the transition to maybe Final Fantasy. I feel like Dragon Quest was like huge. Dragon Quest
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, even 4, they were massive in Japan upon release. Since then, I don't know. 5 is fantastic. It's stellar as
5
well.
is amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's goated for sure. And then I think around 6 is when public opinion kind of starts shifting, as like, it was
Mhm.
kind of downhill after 5, but
Yeah.
except for 8. I love 8. Anyways, going way off topic.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a way for Square Enix to sort of recapture their high school touchdown memory. Their when they peaked in high school. This is them reclaiming their glory. They're trying to recreate the early successes, and I don't know if it's gonna work out quite like that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We'll see.
I have my suspicions. I'm certainly hyped about HD2D DQ, but from a business standpoint, I feel like it's probably not the best title they could have chosen to put all these resources in. But it may be more of a long play. Maybe they're trying to really establish DQ in the West, and maybe the way that they feel like they can do it is to have like a reboot of some kind, because they're doing 1, 2, 3, right? So that's like a reboot, and like really introduce this series to the West and hope to find a market for that. So I can see it, but I also feel like it's probably not the best
Yeah.
decision, but we'll see.
Yeah. I can see both.
Yeah.
All right.
Elephant in the
So
room though, Chrono Trigger.
what's that? What?
Chrono
Oh,
Trigger. You want to talk about HD2D? How do we
Well-
not talk about Chrono Trigger?
I mean, oh gosh,
Oh gosh.
I don't.
That's
I,
the elephant in the room, man. Like, you want to talk about HD2D remake? Let's talk about Chrono Trigger, right?
I mean, okay, yeah. Do I want it? Yeah. Do I want Square Enix to make it?
if they do if they give it the Octopath Traveler treatment, people will eat it up. You know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll eat it up.
It would be so phenomenal. I would absolutely love it. But let me just remind you that we should be careful what we wish for, because we did eventually get a Final Fantasy VII remake, right? Massive air quotes on that, and the reception on that has been so mixed, and I fail to see a way in which Square Enix could have made a Final Fantasy VII that could have lived up to the hype. Like maybe making an actual remake would be a good start, but even then I have this sneaking suspicion that a lot of like the real super fans of Final Fantasy VII would pick the nits out of that thing, to hell and back.
Yeah. Any deviation from the previous game would be hyper scrutinized to an inch of his life. Yeah, it's a weird behavior.
So anyways,
one-
I'm sure,
yeah.
I mean, and Final Chrono Trigger has so many fans that I would absolutely pick some nits myself if they did anything that would like harm or disrupt my perspective of my beloved Chrono Trigger. So I think that there's a lot of us out there. So
I'll say one more thing about remakes, which
Yeah.
is slightly slightly different from the HDTD talk.
Yeah.
But remember that Square Enix also has the Legend of Mana treatment for remake games. Look at Saga 2, Romance in Saga 2.
Yeah.
That's done by the Trials of Mana team. So it's not like H2TD is the only option when it comes to remaking games of that era. They have
true.
other avenues.
They do.
So just keep in mind that that's even if they were to remake it, it might not necessarily be HDTD.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've talked enough about this voicemail so far. But hey, if you guys want to leave us voicemail for us to ponder over for a while, be sure to do so at 785-337-3805, and we'll play it on the air, and we'll go off into the weeds for a while. So
don't be shy.
now
Let us hear your voices.
let's talk about some of the new games that were announced.
Yes, let's do
let's
that.
see.
All right, I'll start with this one because oh boy, I have a lot to say about this one.
Okay, exciting. I'm
All
curious.
right. I was telling Derek about this in the pre-show, and I'll tell you guys about this too. Let me start by saying this: there's a non-zero chance for us to miss a game in our news cycle. There's a lot of games that comes out. Sometimes we leave them out on purpose because of editorial decision, like we just don't have enough time in a day to go through everything. Sometimes we really do, like it really did fell through the gap and we're like, oops, I meant, like we would have talked about it if we knew about it, but we didn't. So all the people who like write to us and say, hey, there's this new game that came out. Well, I do appreciate the reminder, right? Because sometimes it does fall through the crack. Less often is when a game falls through the crap sorry, the crack, falls through the crack
Yeah.
of not just us, but all the other game publications that I also review to make sure that things don't fall through the crack. So I would read maybe 9 or 10 different game publications, and maybe sometimes a game will be featured on 1 or 2 of them, sometimes all of them. And I'll review them. I would aggregate all of it, and then we'll tell you guys about it, though at least the ones that we think are cool, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, though, this game that I'm about to tell you has 0 mentions on any publication that I follow, but it is an absolutely gorgeous game, and it's free on Steam, and I don't understand why there weren't any coverage. Now, okay, you could say, well, maybe the game is not that great. It's got so many overwhelming positive review on Steam right now.
Yeah.
So it's not like people haven't played it either. People have played it. The reviews are overwhelmingly good. It's free. It looks amazing. It plays really well. It's got a pretty interesting story. Did I mention it's free? But it's absolutely 0 mentions. Like I looked at all the usual suspects when it comes to like these game news sites, 0 mentions.
Weird.
Search Google, just nothing. So the game is called Illusion Carnival. It's an action adventure game from the developer Kiz, K-I-Z, that has you playing a colorless lost soul trying to escape this eerie and whimsical pop-up book carnival. It's a horror game, all right. But not like, it's a horror game in a same sense as like, I don't know, maybe like Yo Mawari, for anyone who knows what Yo Mawari is. Take a look at the video. You'll see what I mean.
All right, let's take a look at this. Baku, you're just trying to make
quite the intro I gave it, I'm sure.
All right, let's make sure this works. Okay.
Absolutely gorgeous game. The sound design is fantastic. It's kind of more of an action adventure. It is definitely paper cut, but like on purpose paper cut.
Yeah, it's part of the aesthetic.
It's part of the aesthetic. It looks amazing. The character designs are very nice. My only gripe on it is the translation's not done particularly well. But I imagine they don't exactly have all the budget in the world.
Yeah, that tracks. So
the art is amazing. I love the way that they play with the perspectives to like really give you that like eerie atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the game is free on Steam right now for chapter 1 anyways. There's no date or pricing information for future chapters, so they might start charging later, right? But so far it's free, and you can play through that first chapter for free. And it's a relatively new game. And this game came out the first chapter came out in early July. So it's been a month.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a month for anyone to talk about this, and they haven't. And I'm like, all right, well, if no one will do it, we will. So
it sounded like musically is cool, visually very cool style, and it's free. And free also probably means it's probably pretty short, so it's probably not full of filler. So
4 hours. I got through it. You could probably get through it in like 2-3 hours. I think it's a worthwhile play and exploration into this game.
Neat. So if you're strapped for time, you could probably knock it out in a couple of lunch breaks or something at work.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, in that case, I'll go ahead and move along here to our next one, which comes from the creator of Assault Spy. Warzen just announced their newest work called MIGHTREYA. This is a 3D action-adventure game with aerial superhero battles. Let's see. Did I add that onto my... I don't think I added... Oh, wait. This is the one that's on...
This is the Twitter one, yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so yeah, this... Whoa. Gosh, wait for me to hit the play button. Holy moly. Okay, so I'll share my screen here, and...
So this game here definitely got some inspiration from My Hero Academia.
that's cool.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna watch.
hence the might.
I'll just play it
it's
again.
replaying.
Yeah, I'll just play it again because that's cool. It's 11 seconds long.
It's a super short trailer.
Yeah.
It is like super recent announcement. That's why. Now they have separate like gameplay videos from the creator's Twitter page that you can take a look at on your own.
Yeah.
However, they don't have like a well put together trailer yet.
Okay. So yeah, it's still very early in its development, and it's being developed currently just for PC via Steam, as far as we know. But we'll let you know more as more is revealed.
Yeah. The game is called MIGHTREYA.
Yeah, MIGHTREYA. All one word, but it's camel case, so capital R, capital is.
It's actually not camel case, but I camel cased it for you before you read it as MIGHTREYA.
Did you? Oh, well,
yeah,
thank
I did
you so
that
much.
so you can pronounce it.
I appreciate that, because that could have been it could have been MIGHTREYA. And
yeah, MIGHTREYA. Yeah, well, the main character's name is Rhea. That's why I know it's probably MIGHTREYA.
Or MIGTREYA.
MIGHTREYA.
MIGTREYA. Yep, that's it.
MIGHTREYA. Yes.
But seriously, that looks so cool. So go check it out, and we'll let you know when it's got more information out there for us.
Hang on 1 second. Let me just spell it for people on chat. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely come back to this, I think, because I'm not like a big My Hero Academia enjoyer. It's kind of past my time. Like I'm done with
I'm kind of a fan of Lemillion.
Yeah.
I think as far as MHA characters, there's just something about Lemillion that I tend to gravitate to. I can't quite place it. But yeah.
I do appreciate the aesthetics, and they're trying to make like a superhero battle game. That looks cool. That looks fun. Yeah, it's super like what's the word? I think they're going for like very outlandish and like very extravagant battles. Like I think that's cool. Okay, moving on. This is a game that I had really enjoyed, and I want to share with you guys more about this. This game is from Kodansha and Tokoron Yori. They just announced a 2-player puzzle adventure game called BOKURA Planet. Let's take a look at the trailer real quick, and then I can tell you guys more about this.
Okay, sure. Let's play that.
So BOKURA, which is out right now, is a exactly 2-player action adventure game or puzzle adventure game where 2 people from 2 different screens will see 2 completely different images, and the 2 of you interact with each other in ways that you don't expect, and that's BOKURA, and it tells like a very unique story. It's got some really cool puzzles. Now this is from the creator, and they're calling this BOKURA Planet, which will also require you to have exactly 2 player. It's not like optional 2 player. No, it's exactly 2 players.
You
it's
must
like
have
the there are like some other games like that. There's this one, I don't know if you guys ever play these, but like there's that like one jail escape game where you have to play, like each of you play as one of the characters, and you have like 2 perspectives, and you have to help each other out to escape jail. There's another game called It Takes Two, which literally takes 2 player to play. This is similar, except it's 2D, and you see like different things on your screen, completely different screen. You have to, and so I say, for example, if I'm playing with you, Derek, you would see something completely different on your screen. I don't see your screen. So we have to communicate and work together. Like you have to explain to me what you're seeing, and I have to explain to you how to solve a puzzle.
Interesting.
Right? So that adds to like that communication. That's part of the gameplay element. Like if I can just see both screens side by side, I can solve the puzzle very easily. It's like that other game called something about like not blowing up, where like one person is looking at the bomb puzzle and the other one's looking at the manual. Imagine something like that, except without the timer and no one's dying from a bomb blowing up. But it's a similar concept. Like we see different things. We have to communicate to each other in order to solve puzzles.
Neat.
But it's like platform, and it was super fun. So this is their new game. Now this is going to be released early 2025. So if you've got a friend, especially ones maybe that are like distance from you, and you just want to play this, over like a Discord chat or something, I highly recommend it. Bokura is
I
so much fun.
I don't have any friends, especially
Yeah, sorry,
ones who are
Derek.
distant to me. All right. Does that cover about everything you wanted to talk about on this one?
For Bokura, yes.
Okay. All right. In that case, Paper Sword Games have announced a new time-traveling turn-based RPG called Saveseeker. You play as the hero's daughter, Emer Adet, who I hope I said that right, who will
Hope
travel
so.
the world and recruit enemy bosses that her father had previously defeated in order to stop the hero from destroying the world. What?
I
Let's
am
check
so
this.
sold on the premise already. But go on.
Yeah, let's check this out.
So basically, there's this little dragon that travels with the main character, and the main character defeated all these bosses along the way, got to the final boss, defeated the final boss, and then come to the realization that he needs to completely recreate the world and get rid of all the magic. So then the little dragon is like, well, hold a darn second, sir. That's not what we agreed to. So then the little dragon's like, all right, I got it. There's only one person in this world who can talk this man out of destroying the world, and that's his daughter. So the little dragon went back to the daughter and be like, hey, your dad? Yeah. The hero? Yeah. He's trying to destroy the world. So then she's like, well, that won't do.
This looks cool, man.
Did it get your attention, Mr. Derek?
Yes. Indeed it has.
The character design looks really good. The story premise is like, you've got me on the premise. I'm like, do tell. Tell me more about the story.
I already have a sneaking idea of how this might end, but I am here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
There you go. This game is called Saveseeker.
That's cool.
I have it wishlist immediately.
Yeah, guys, make sure if you see anything that looks cool,
it immediately.
I was gonna say, if you guys see anything that looks cool, make sure you wishlist it, because it's super helpful to all those indie developers. And also, just a quick reminder that we will be responding to super chats at the end of the show. So if you posted one, we'll get back to you soon.
Yes.
All right, and now this is slated for a release sometime in 2025 for PC via Steam.
Yeah. So during the pre-show, I was telling Derek that one of these games that I've added in there, I think will pique his interest, and this was the one. So was I right? Are you interested in this?
My interest has been piqued. Yeah, it's definitely caught my attention.
I just really I really like these stories that plays on conventions, right?
Yeah.
The convention is that the hero will go through these and then save the world, right? So yeah, but what if we flip the script on this? What if the whole basis is just that, but we flip the script?
Yeah.
And then the hero is like, yeah, no, it's just kidding, gonna totally destroy the world. Like what? Love it. I love things like that. And this is why we love indies, because indies will do things like this, whereas big companies will not. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And I feel like certain kinds of games are able to do these sort of things when they're lower commitment. Like if it was like a 20-hour experience that happens to have some sort of twist on things, that would be cool. But if it was like 100-hour game and then you find out later that there's this big, subversion of expectations toward the end, that would really be I don't know. It might sour you to the experience. So it's cool that you can do that on a smaller scale sort of deal.
Yeah. I'd say use it as a test bed, right? But I think big companies benefit from paying attention.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Derek, for covering Saveseeker, and now we're moving on to this like rapid fire, you know, maybe announcement of games because Playism. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Playism, but Playism brings a lot of like relatively unknown indie games from Japan, and they just sort of like bring it to the world stage with like translations and publishing help. So I think they're really cool. They brought a lot of I mean they've been around for like maybe a decade or so, and since inception they brought a lot of games that otherwise would have never made it to the west, with full translations and whatnot. So that's why I'm very excited. They did like a game show 3 days ago, so a lot of these games are things that may have been talked about before, but now we have more solid like gameplay and dates. So we're gonna go through some of those, starting with a 3D action game from a Taiwanese developer, Crimson Dusk, called Homura Hime. The prototype of this game actually dates back to 2018, when the developer was just a student. So now, like 6 years later, it's been picked up by Playism, and we actually have a release date or release time frame at least. But yeah, but let's take a look at it. It's a gorgeous game that you didn't think a student just started making.
All right. Yeah, let's check this out.
I've got to say, all these Playism games, they all look freaking gorgeous. This is like a beautiful 3D
Kind of action
game.
RPG. Yeah. Did we talk about this once already before with like the...
We have not.
Really?
Because it's
Okay.
again, it's one of those things where like you don't hear about it, but then
Yes, I remember
something
that.
like Playism comes along and has the budget to like translate and market.
I talked about this one. I talked about this in a JRPG Weekly Update, I
Oh,
think.
you did.
Yeah, just me. Just me.
You did. I mean, as in like we didn't talk about this on HitPoint.
Yeah, not on HitPoint.
Yeah.
But Homura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this-
thought
this
that looked
was,
super familiar.
Yeah, this was from this started in 2018. The prototype started in 2018. So
Yeah.
6 years later, it's finally coming to fruition. I'm super excited for it. It looks great.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
a really good, sweet looking game, and this is gonna do out like early 2025 for PC via Steam. So wish list it, guys, if that interests you. In fact, all the games that we're gonna talk about.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So this next one we're going to talk about is a 2D top-down action game called Outrider Mako by developer Azamondo Games. Play as Mako, who got isekai'd into a strange world. In order to return home, she must work as a courier at a delivery center that delivers items to the gods of the world. And yeah, let's check out Outrider Mako, because this is this sounds adorable, but
Dude,
also
look at
like
this.
what?
These arts is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of like Spirited Away feel to it with all the yokai.
Yep, that immediately came to mind, but then I didn't want to just
Yeah.
be like, oh, it's at a,
But I love
yeah.
the style. Like,
that looks so cute, but also really, I got a good feeling about this. It looks like it could be really fun.
it's pretty fast paced, it looks like. But this is very like Shinto kind of like feel where like it's not like Olympian gods, like
Yes.
it's like gods of all things, kind of like a kami
Yes.
kind of deal. It's got yokai that you have to fight against.
That looks sick.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
Cuteness is justice indeed.
Okay, there. Let's pause that.
All right.
All right. So yeah, the game is slated for release this winter via Steam. So, I feel
This
like
winter.
it's pretty wild how much PC gaming is just getting so many cool games these days that I would have assumed years ago that I would have assumed had to have been console games, you know? Just I don't know why, but
Well, I mean, I think it has to do with the indie movement too, because it's
100%.
just way easier to publish on PC than on a console.
Yeah.
As an indie developer, like I throw it on Steam, throw it on Epic, throw it on like itch.io. Even if you
Mhm.
just wanted to like do like a quick self-publish, you can just do that
Oh yeah.
versus having to go through all the stuff and you get PlayStation to like take your game on or something.
And for me, I feel like the PC has become a more desirable way to play ever since getting my Steam Deck. I'm starting to
Ooh.
enjoy it. I've actually started to play on it and make it my own and make it usable.
Mhm.
I can actually record gameplay footage
What?
while I stream it. Like
Wow.
while I play it, I can record
Mhm.
locally like it's a computer because it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks beautiful in a video. I love it.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yeah, it took some, some shenanigans, but
Mhm.
it's a Linux machine, so shenanigans is its middle name. So it's
Yeah.
pretty
I think the
awesome.
hardest part is just like trying to fit it into your like lifestyle,
Yeah,
like
that's
your habits, you know.
exactly.
All right. Next up, we've got a game that is described as a deep diving action strategy game called Million Depth. Um, you play as a human girl named Moma, who is visiting Earth to find her one and only friend by diving down 1,000,000 floors underground.
Oh my god.
Okay,
So
so
this
the way
sounds like a
this
pretty long game.
right, the way the story goes is something like this. This is like far into the future. Moma's crew in space succumb to this mysterious virus, and she's the only survivor. And so she's been talking to someone who is from Earth. Uh, and then one day that person stopped messaging. So now she's trying to find that friend by diving down 1,000,000 floors into hospitable parts, the only hospitable part of the planet left for human. So it's interesting. Let's take a look at it.
I just want to preface this by saying that if you made it through one floor per second, it would take 11 days.
Hopefully they can go through like maybe 10 floors at a time. I don't know.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope.
Yeah.
All right, let's check this out.
1,000,000 floors. All the games that we're gonna showcase are all like really good looking. I think Playism already did like all the work for us by picking a bunch of really pretty games to publish.
I
So
I think
it's
you're
not
right.
hard.
Maybe MoMA is just really banking on finding them before they go through all million floors.
With 1,000,000 layers. Layers, maybe not floors, layers.
Layers. Okay.
Layers. The deepest depths of the earth.
Who knows? Maybe they'll be in the 30th layer you go to.
It's like, just kidding. Did I
Instead
say
of
a
a million.
million?
We just got really good on the RNG.
I was just exaggerating. Why?
Oh, there's a million, but she was only 30 down.
Yeah, so this is a strategy aspect.
That's
I'm
interesting.
not sure exactly how to play it. It seems very unique. There's a side-scrolling parts of it. There are
Component, sure.
battles, but then there's like the drilling down aspect.
Yeah.
And
I can
it's not
see that.
simply like, here, drill 1 floor down, 2 floors down. Like, there's some kind of mechanic, some kind of strategy to drill down, too.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Indies, man. Exploring different ideas. Just saying.
All right.
Yes. And that's also coming out early in 2025 via Steam.
All right. So this one I'm super excited for because I've been keeping an eye on this project on Twitter for a while. And now we can talk about it because
Yes.
Playism gave us one more information about the upcoming sci-fi action RPG from Atelier Mimana called Haruka Beyond the Stars.
Beyond
This,
the stars.
this is an intergalactic adventure that follows a young boy named Yuki who will travel in search of his father who left on a space journey and then never returned.
Yes.
All right, Haruka Beyond the Stars. Let's check this out.
That's sort of like level 5S look.
Yeah.
Love it. Like
it
slight
looks-
Ghibli, slight level 5.
Oh man, it looks to me so much like Dark Cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
Does he? I hope he has like a. Do they have a gun also? Yeah, a
Magic.
ranged attack. Like if
Yeah.
you can switch between ranged and melee. Oh man,
I think the guy is
It looks like
melee
it.
and the girl is magic range.
okay, because that's also how Dark Chronicle or Dark Cloud 2 was,
Mhm.
where you could switch between the two characters to do melee or ranged. No, wait.
I-
No, they both had melee and range options.
I will say that I'm excited for all the games that we talk about today, but I'm the most excited about this one.
Well, I appreciate you letting me talk about it because
Just
it is so
looks
cool.
so good.
I know. What a beautiful looking game.
Like
That
this
trailer,
is an
man.
indie game. What?
Right? Oh yeah.
What? This is an indie game.
I know. It's crazy what indies are able to do. I mean, it used and I still love pixel art, but like it used to be that's all they could do, but now they're doing so much more.
Mhm.
And I love it. So anyways, this is slated to be released in 2025 for PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Switch, and also PC via Steam.
Yay, more ways to play.
Oh man. So again, it was Haruka, Haruka, Beyond the Stars. Yes.
And also, all the titles, as we mentioned, and we always do this, by the way. I don't know if you guys notice, but we update the comments later on and give you guys links to the videos that we show and, you know, the names to the games. So, along with timestamp whenever our buddy Freddie can get to it. So,
Yeah.
just maybe for some new viewers too, like, here,
Oh,
after
yeah.
the show ends, maybe like give us a day or so, go click on the comments. You're gonna see the name of the game that we're talking about, the video that we showcase, which is also a YouTube video, and also timestamps. They're all
Yeah.
gonna come later. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the next one. If you're a fan of Metal Slug and Contra, man, I think we've got the right thing for you.
Okay.
From the developer Gray Fox Software, we've got ourselves a 2D side-scrolling, super fast-paced shoot 'em up called Nitro Express.
Oh, okay.
Take a look.
Cool. I was gonna say that doesn't sound RPG-ish at all, but it must be cool if we're gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah, no, all these games are dope.
All right, let's check this out.
Like I was debating if we want to talk about it. I'm like,
Oh,
no,
it's
this game
Anime
looks-
Girls. Of course we'll
this
talk
game
about
looks
it.
well, of course, It's Anime Girls. Of course we have to. It's
They
Anime
figured-
Girl Contra.
They found the one thing that can make Contra even cooler. just give
I
the
think
giant
it's-
guns to Anime
honestly,
Girls.
I think it looks a little bit more Metal Slug.
It does.
But I love the pixel art.
Oh man. That does look cool. Oh, there's numbers on screen, so yeah, it's an RPG.
Oh yeah, that's
It,
totally
it
an
shows
RPG.
shows
Yeah,
how much
yes,
damage you're doing.
look.
Yeah. Oh yeah, HP meters.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an action RPG, guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that does look dope though.
Yeah, I saw this whole thing. I'm like, why can't not talk about it? It just looks so cool.
Yeah, Nitro Express.
Nitro Express.
Oh, that's cool. I'm never gonna play it. I know it because it's just not my jam. But I want to be the kind of person who plays that.
I will probably make an exception and play this one.
You
I'm not
think?
big on it, but I'll play it. Lately, I've been playing a lot of. I've made it so that there's one day out of the week where I'll play an indie game. I've made it so that I will stream some games, but one day out of the week is guaranteed I'll play an indie game. And
Oh.
and so I've got to tell you, I feel so much better about things now that I've gave myself a time to play indie games.
Yeah.
uh you know, my appreciation for games in general has greatly increased. I highly recommend people trying to set some time aside just to play indie games.
Yeah.
They're so good, guys. Like, don't think it's like the indie games of yesteryears where like you go to some like shady website and it's like a beta build and like that's your indie. Like, no, indie games today rivals things from big studios at like half the budget.
That's true. Now, it doesn't look like they have a Steam page up just yet, unfortunately, but it is due out sometime in 2025. So, yeah, maybe we'll tell you more when we know more about it.
Heck yeah.
All right. So,
All right. Well, this next one is for you, Mr. Derek.
Yeah.
It's your favorite.
okay. So this last game is not a new game per se, but rather a free upgrade to an existing game called Misao. Misao is a cult classic among the RPG Maker horror games from 2011. Oh, thank you, Baku. In
You're welcome.
2017, it got a definitive edition released onto Steam, and now, 7 years later in 2024, it'll get an HD upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh man. So actually I'm a little stoked about this because this is the sort of deal that I liked about Corpse Party, but let's see if this holds up.
Okay. So I played this before. Misao is the same creator of Mad Father that actually already has an HD definitive version as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, they have quote unquote definitive
Hey!
edition already on Steam.
Alright. No reason to lose your head, gal.
Oh, well. So the head's right there. Okay.
Oh, she found it. Okay, that's good. I was a little concerned about that. Ooh, spoopy. It's looking spoopy.
Yeah, I played this on stream before. It was
Oh.
it was good. I liked it.
Oh wait, it's still going.
Yeah. But it had like it was like a 3:4 aspect ratio, but now they've got the 16:9.
Oh man,
Yeah.
moving on up. That's so cool. So yeah, the upgrade will roll out on the 15th, which is just a few days from now. Everyone who owns the game already will now get the HD upgrade for free. The price of the game will go up after the upgrade to, oh gosh, this is a little, ooh, it's a pricey game. So it's going to go up to $9.99. So
steep.
if this game is of interest to you, you might want to pick it up now for just $3.99. That's because it's going to, it's going to line go up.
They're doing a sale right now for they're doing a sale right now. If you buy the game today, is $3.99 and you get the free upgrade.
That's
If
cool.
you wait until after the upgrade, the game becomes $9.99. So I'm like,
Yeah. You may as well get it
maybe
now.
Pick it up now. Maybe do
You
it
may
now.
as well. I mean, it's only
you might
$4.
as well.
That's like the cost of a cup of coffee these days.
Okay, a cup of coffee from like Starbucks is like $6 now, which is ridiculous.
I meant like a basic coffee,
Small
like
house
like
coffee.
a drip coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the kind of coffee you might get at, like, I don't know, if you like roll up to a country kitchen buffet and you're like, I don't know, just give me a
McDonald's.
coffee or something. Like, I'm about to I'm about to eat this all you can eat buffet. Just give me the coffee. It's
Oh,
$4.
the pitchforks are coming, sir. All right. That concludes our coverage of Playism Game Show that occurred on August 8th. I hope you guys enjoy the games that we had to talk about today. We've only got 2 more games to go over, and these 2 are quite the bangers, actually. Just when you thought that you've seen it all. Here's one for you. Type Moon and Bandai Namco announced that they'll be releasing Fate Extra Record, which is a complete remake of Fate Extra, the series RPG that was originally released on PSP. Let's take a look at the trailer real quick, and you guys will see what I'm talking about.
All right, let's check it
Yeah,
out.
so they're rebuilding this game from the ground up. I think this is about the time when it got like really popular. Like Fate was like always pretty popular with people, but once they released like Fate Extra, it really took off, and then that led to like FGO, and then before you know it, everyone knows Noxuverse is basically just Fate, which is a thing that I don't like, but it's what it is.
I'm completely uninitiated, so this is interesting. I mean, I know that Fate was like an anime series, but it's a multimedia franchise. Catch me up here.
Multimedia franchise, yeah.
Okay. Was it also a visual novel series?
It started off as a visual novel series.
Okay.
So Type Moon is well known for doing visual novels that are based around the same world.
This
and
looks
so
cool,
you
though.
have like Tsukihime. You have
Okay, this looks cool
other
though.
games.
Is there?
Huh?
Do I need to have experienced anything in the Fate genre
play this? No.
to? Okay, I can just dive in with this,
Yes, you can just dive
and
in.
then
This
and then
is-
from there I have an anime series I could start watching if I wanted to. I guess.
you're going into a another rabbit hole if you do that.
Okay, so it's disconnected then.
Well, let's just say that they're all connected in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, but it is mostly
All of them.
self-contained. This
Yeah.
one. Okay. All right. This looks good.
This looks really good.
This looks really good. Why does this look good? I've been able to ignore the Fate series for this long. Why does this look this good?
Well,
making
you
it
can always
difficult.
play the original Fate Extra. That's on PSP. You can always do that.
Did that?
But yeah,
did
but
that
it
come
looks
out in
like
the
they have
West?
completely revamped everything. They rebuilt everything. The battle looks different. I don't know how the battle system will be like. The original battle system was kind of clunky and slow. This looks nothing like the original battle system. So I don't know what they're doing with it. Hopefully for the better, because quite honestly, the original game was not that great. But this looks much better. It's much faster. It's more responsive looking.
It looks sick.
Obviously, the art's improved dramatically over like 15 years.
Yeah. I guess that just goes to show that some remakes really can be okay if they're not HD 2D. I guess.
All right. Now this game is well, I should finish off by saying that this game is slated for 2025 release. You'll notice that all of the game are coming out like 2025.
I know.
This one though is on PS4 and 5 and Switch and the PC via Steam. So many ways to play this one.
All right. Well, now everybody, I already talked a little bit about this once upon a time in JRPG Weekly Update, but in case you missed it, have you guys heard of this little game, this little indie RPG that a lot of people tend to love? It's an action RPG called Crosscode. If you heard of it, if you like it, you should check it. If you haven't heard of it, go check that out first and foremost. But if you have, just know that Radical Fish Games, the developer of that, just announced their newest action RPG called Alabaster Dawn. And this game will have a focus on developing settlements as the player helps out the various locals. And it appears to be an action RPG following the same sort of vein and building upon the combat and puzzles of everything from Crosscode. So let's take a look at the trailer for this as well.
It makes sure that you know it's from the creators of Crosscode.
Yeah.
I will say that this is my second most excited game. Haruka comes a little bit above, but this is not far off from it.
Now, I've been told by many people that the combat of Crosscode and by extension this game is reminiscent of the combat of Terranigma, which has really piqued my interest.
And why have you not played it yet?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I need to like move this up in on my list, especially Crosscode. This looks absolutely gorgeous, though.
I've heard nothing but great things from people who's played Crosscode. So,
yeah.
I have no doubt. I mean, this looks amazing, and got my attention for sure. Yeah, this is the kind of game that I would really sink my teeth in like the Super Nintendo, PlayStation era.
Yeah. Oh man, that is gorgeous pixel art.
Yeah. Ooh, you got some like East kind of situation going on there, locked in and then fighting a boss. Okay.
Oh man.
Wishlist it now.
Yeah, guys. Go wishlist it. That. Oh man, that's very exciting. So there's a demo planned for 2025 with an early access launch in early 2025 for PC via Steam.
Yes.
And nowhere else yet so far, but
yeah.
you know.
Well, that's what they're planning on right now, from what I can find. They can always change their mind at any moment, so you know, take this with a grain of salt. That's what they've told us.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, okay. So I did allude to a bit of news earlier. Here, let's change our section overlay to
It's all the games we had to share with you. Hope you guys liked all those games, because I actually like all the games that we talk about today.
There were some that I also was kind of curious about talking about, but didn't. We ended up not having quite as much time as I would have liked. But check out Gothic also, guys. They're remaking Gothic. If you want to take a look at there's this like showcase trailer they put out that looks pretty sick. It's like 10 minutes long. And it looks, I mean, I never played the original Gothic, but it kind of looks kind of like The Witcher in a way. I don't know. That might be an insult to people who loved the original games, though. I don't know. I don't know. But it looks cool. Go check that out too. But we have some merch to talk a little bit about.
Yeah. I don't know if adding it to the merch section was the right move.
Probably not the right move. Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
But, okay. So I'll just say this. For people who are interested in getting their hands on a physical copy for Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster Collection on hard copy, Square Enix just announced that they will be doing a reprint, and the pre-orders live now in the Square Enix store, Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop for America. Now, if you live elsewhere in the world and you're interested, definitely check your local game retailers, because as some of you guys may know, Square Enix has this like notoriously high shipping fee. So if you want to avoid that, check your local game retailers and see if they're doing the pre-order. I know Canada has like a different thing, and then like Australia might have like a different thing. Last resort, go to Square Enix. But if you can help it, and if you are interested and you missed the original hard copies from like a year or so ago,
I mean,
now's the time.
Legit, I just want to boycott the Square Enix shop in general, just because of how badly they botched this last release.
Wait, which release?
The release of Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters.
Oh,
where they did the launch at midnight on some random night, and then they sold out before I woke up and checked my Twitter DMs to find out that I had missed out already. But then I went on to PlayStation and got a copy anyway. So, anyways. It is worth noting, though, that this is a slightly different version than the original version that launched on their website all that year ago or more. This is going to be the anniversary edition, which has a different cover
Mm.
so that, just so you know, if you got one of the originals or paid a scalper, this won't undermine your intrinsic value, I guess. So you don't have to worry about that. So this is going to be, your version of the game will still be probably really well sought after by collectors and stuff. But the anniversary edition, it's like the greatest hits. It's just like
Yeah.
that. It's almost as good.
Still
And it comes
$80.
actually it's better because it comes with a sticker pack.
It comes with stickers. It's
Yes,
true.
it comes
Get
with
stickers.
the stickers look bad.
I have a question for everyone. Okay, like serious question. Okay, serious question. They sometimes give free stickers in video games, especially when they're like limited edition. Oh, here's a sticker pack. Has
Mhm.
any one of you actually used the stickers for anything? Please let me know because I have not. It is the least useful thing of all the limited edition extra BS. It's cute to look at, but I have never, not once, used these stickers.
Like
And I don't think I ever will.
I always want to sticker bomb something. But I never have anything that I want to sticker bomb.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. Like, oh, I could sticker bomb this laptop, but then it's like, oh, but then the laptop has all these stickers on it. It's
The
like,
irony.
I know, right? Like part of me is like keep everything pristine and keep all of my stickers, where they go, and make
Mhm.
sure that they retain their value. But the other part of me is like, man, sticker bomb stuff looks cool. So you got to do it with like stuff you don't care about, with stickers you don't care about, and then what's the point?
Okay, so about stickers, right? Now,
Yeah,
I've not used any of the limited edition game stickers, but I have bought like stickers from conventions.
yeah.
Okay. And you know what I did with those stickers that I bought from convention? And they're like bigger. They're like maybe like yay big, right? Um, sometimes I put I tape stuff on my wall, and sometimes like I'm not careful about it and it like rips paint off the wall. So I slap a sticker on it. It's like a band-aid. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not repainting the wall over this little thing.
That way,
So
when you
just
peel
stick
the
a sticker
sticker
on
off,
it.
you have an even
Yeah.
bigger patch of paint that you
Yeah,
need to
I'll,
redo.
I'll, I'll look. I'll deal with it when I'm willing to, when I'm ready to sell the house. It's fine. Like that's years down the road. I don't need to paint this thing.
You should just
Just slap a sticker.
You should legitimately just use band-aids then. Just
The what?
just legit just use a band-aid.
Oh, just
Uh,
put an actual band-aid on it. I'll call it art. I mean, someone stuck a banana to with duct tape and sold it for like $10,000 or something. Why
yeah.
couldn't I do that? I
I
just put a
I
band-aid
call
on
this
my.
piece I call this piece A Sucker is Born Every Minute.
I'll just make some BS about society and the human condition, and then like
Oh yeah,
pass
yeah,
it
yeah.
off as something profound.
All right. Well, speaking of passing stuff off as profound, let's go ahead and respond to some of our super chats that we've gotten throughout.
Wow. Okay, I see that Derek
Kill-
has woken up and chose violence today. Go for it, sir, please.
Right. So we got a super chat here from Still Alive who says, utilizing my RPG backlog randomizer, chose Legend of Legaia for me as my next JRPG to play. It's
Oh,
my
nice.
first time playing and was wondering if you guys played it and can offer any non-spoilery noob tips.
I don't remember playing it.
Nah, I never did. I remember distinctly, it is one of my most requested games to review of all time, and every time I hear about it, I'm just part of me in the back of my head is like, I've never seen anything about this game. That can't be any good. Just kidding.
This was
I'm sure it's
during.
great. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure it's great.
I
No,
hear
I've heard about this game quite a bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, but this happened during my like gaming like blackout days. Well, I was busy doing something else and I wasn't playing a whole lot of games.
Mm.
And then I sort of reconnected with gaming like after college, and then by then I didn't want to go back to play that. So and
I
just
gotcha.
never did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do want to make my way through it again, and I hear that it's a pretty short RPG as far as
Oh.
PlayStation goes.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong. In fact, I'm probably wrong. Most of the time when I go off based off of just something I remember, I'm probably wrong. uh, howlongtobeat.com says that Legaia is 37 hours.
Oh, that's
So it's,
nothing.
I mean, for the main story. If you want to be a completionist, it's like 60. So, I mean, like, whatever.
Yeah. So standard RPG length, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, so, it's not that bad. So, um, tips. Make sure you have a save card.
Yes. That's important.
It actually is kind of funny how I actually got a comment on one of my videos not too long ago. They were talking about, it was a comment from somebody who said that they had recently started playing through, or were going to be playing through Breath of Fire 3 on their PlayStation 2 because they heard it was backwards compatible, but they have a PlayStation 2 card and they can't save their game and they're wondering what they can do about it. And it's interesting how much of like the old institutional knowledge of like being from there in the time, like we take for granted. Like I knew you need a memory card for PlayStation 1 to save a PlayStation 1 disc on your, even if you play on PlayStation 2 because it's backwards compatible. But like that sort of information can just kind of fall into obscurity, right? It's pretty wild.
Wow. I never even thought about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just interesting how that kind of institutional knowledge disappears because you don't, like, we know it because like everybody knew it,
Yeah.
but then
It's like common knowledge, right?
but where does the common knowledge come from when like new generations approach playing on their own? Like there's so many pitfalls, right?
They just don't play it.
Yeah, it's just well,
just
they,
just don't.
no, they just use DuckStation apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently that's really good these days. I hear, so I don't know.
Well, no, I figured they just don't play like on OG hardware, right? And then so
Typically,
right,
but
it's
even if
like
you play,
emulators.
but even if you play on a PlayStation 3, you have
Mhm.
to know to go into your settings and create a PlayStation 1 memory card.
Or a virtual card, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
it's kind of weird and interesting, but okay. Um, so yeah, there's all kinds of weird isms that you can get caught on. Let's see. Next up, we got a question here from Bluebird who says, "Do you guys think Star Ocean series is done? I read somewhere that the last few games didn't sell very well."
I don't think Star Ocean is done, especially because the HD-2D sold well.
Yeah, that went really
Yeah,
well.
the remix sold really well, so I don't think it's done. I
At least,
just think that maybe Tri Ace's time with Square Enix might be done.
that was, I think, the underlying kind of operator there. It was
Yeah.
like, because depending on who you ask, Tri Ace kind of is Star Ocean in some major ways. They,
Yeah.
as I recall, and again, don't quote me because my memory is terrible. But maybe Baku can correct me if I go off the rails. But as I recall, they were originally part of Team Wolf, not Teen Wolf, but Wolf Team. You know, working on like Tales of Fantasia and stuff. And then they kind of split off and started working on their kind of competitor game.
Yes.
So in a way, this is sort of like their baby that happens to also just be owned by Square Enix. The IP is owned by Squaresoft. So like the developers behind it are no longer there. But then again, you could say the same thing about Final Fantasy, right? With oh my god. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Amy was just hammering up my wall for a minute there. Yeah. So anyways, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if what's the fate of Star Ocean, to be honest. I feel like they've kind of shot themselves in the foot with
Mhm.
I've said this so many times. I feel like they've shot themselves in the foot when they release Star Ocean 3. I won't go into it, but certain writing has led them into writing themselves into a dead end. Even though Star Ocean 3 was very well received, that basically meant that there was a lot of things they can no longer do in Star Ocean 4. So when Star Ocean 4 came out, it's almost like they kind of set them for failure in some ways. There's a lot more that has made 4 not as successful as it could have been. But one thing that I feel like had happened to it was starting from already Star Ocean 3, they've already kind of like, you know, shut some doors, let's just say, as far as like possibilities is concerned. Um, the thing that you all have to understand about the Star Ocean universe, like, you know, and no pun intended, is that they share, well, the same universe. Like the timeline of each of the events happen in this singular universe, right?
Mhm.
And so anything that happens in one game that is large enough scale will have to be true for other games, if that makes sense. So it's not like they can just write something in one game and be like, oh well, the next game can just ignore that. It's like, no, that the part of the charm is that it is one cohesive universe. So when you write something that's too out there that affects the timeline, you can't just like unwrite it in another game in a way that isn't very awkward. And basically
Well,
they've kind of like wrote themselves into a corner with
I'm
3.
I'm not entirely sure what it is that you are referring to, but if there's one thing that I know
Mhm.
about RPG writing and seat of the pants style writing, there's nothing that can't be fixed with a little time travel multiverse theory.
Well, I mean, the whole, like, you know, they could always do time travel, but I feel like part
Just
of the
just
yeah,
multiverse it, you
part
know?
of the charm for Star Ocean is that it's almost like a Star Trek kind of thing. You know, with the different
Okay.
generation of Star Trek, it's like an ongoing timeline. You can plot all the different events through like a timeline of what happens, and as these people explore the different planets or whatever, right? There's a reason why after 3 they went back to the origin. So Star Ocean 4 talks about the beginning of the voyages. There's a
Okay, yeah.
reason for that because they couldn't write anything else,
Because they wrote the end
right?
of the world already.
Well,
I mean, maybe.
with
I don't
no
know.
spoilers, but let's just say that it's to that extent of like story ending
I
that
gotcha.
they couldn't write past it.
Yeah.
They shot themselves in the foot for no reason. May I add, there was no reason why that had to be the thing. Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, so, sorry, Bluebird. I hope that that helped respond to the question that you posed. I don't know if it is the end of the line for
Yeah.
Star Ocean, at least in its current iteration. I do think that it's going to be changing, although I don't think Square Enix, especially after they released that HD-2D, I don't think they're going to be ready to walk away from it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So then finally, we got this one here from Eagle Knight who says, now I have an idea for my trash burger stickers.
You just patch your walls, man. Just stick the sticker to the wall.
Yep.
Why repaint it? I don't understand. Why repaint it? It's just like a botch. You're gonna mess it up. Just put a sticker on it.
Yeah, just
And
that's fine.
yeah. And when it's time to sell your home, or when you're done with the lease and you have to like give it back in like good condition, then repaint the whole thing and you're good, right? Duh.
Oh man. All right.
Good home improvement advice is good home improvement advice. Only from HitPoint, by the way, guys.
That's right. The most professional renovation stream on this side of the internet.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that about does it for today's episode of Hit Point, guys. I hope that you enjoyed our show. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to drop us a like or a thumbs up on whatever podcasting platform of choice you happen to be experiencing this on. You know, whether that be Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. It's much appreciated. And then I guess we'll see you in the next one. Baku, have you got any final thoughts for the people?
Wish list all the things that you find interesting because that really does help all the indie developers.
Nailed it. Have a great night,
Yeah.
everybody. Wait, wrong button. There we go. The most professional.